Okay, everybody. Can chat hear us? Are we coming through all clear and everything? I let me just double check with chat. Chat, can you hear us? Are we coming through all right? Can you hear my magnificent voice? Or at the very least, some sort of voice. Okay, I see I see two enthusiastic people, so I'm going to work with the assumption this is going. Everything is fine. This is all fine so far. So, hello everybody. Thank you for joining us again for what is going to be our weekly Adventures in Agni campaign, all POC group. It's wonderful to have folks who are tuning in again as we continue this journey throughout this homebrewed world that I've created. But before we get into everything with this D&D 5th edition game, I have to get through a couple of little important things to announce. So, thank you again to everyone here, and also, thank you to our wonderful sponsors. First of all, Tabletop Loot, fine dice for all your gaming needs. Secondly, Devon Root, the mistress of maps, the maptress perhaps, and our amazing community supporter. And additionally, So Nerdwear. So Nerdwear, it's what the nerds wear. Be certain to type !merch in the chat and let people know So Nerdwear is the place where you can get awesome WTTP merch at a discount. Use code WELCOME, all caps, to get 10% off your next purchase. And as well, our Patreon, type !Patreon. Our Patreon not only goes to support the channel, but as it grows, will act as an incubator, providing funds for amazing artists, writers, and more in the RPG community. So if you want awesome bennies, well, supporting some amazing people, some amazing makers, some amazing creatives, join us on Patreon. It's the best way to support the channel. And as always, if you're interested in becoming a part of this wonderful space, join in our amazing Discord. Type !Discord. And so, before we get into what is assuredly to be an exciting first combat with this wonderful group of players that we have assembled here, we need to introduce our players. And I'm going to give each person, who all you wonderful people can see, a chance to just quickly introduce player character, guess class and race, and just move along, just keep it going. So we're going to start with random person Lily, who is playing.
Hello, I am Lily, and my character is Bo. She is a wild hunt barbarian shifter.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lily. And it's going to be a great evening. Bo's going to get to shred her stuff and everything. So next up, we have Miriam.
Hi, I am Miriam, and I am playing a hobgoblin lore wizard.
The magical know-it-all. I love it already. Next, Aletta.
Hey, I'm Aletta. I'm playing a Serlath, a Fire Ganassi knowledge druid.
Wonderful. Fiery in the mind, and hopefully with the blasty blasties as well. Next up, we have Ant.
I'm Ant. I'm playing a Fluvius Paya, a hobgoblin fiendlock.
The most spooky of spooky boys. And finally, joining us this week, because sadly they were not able to join us last week, but we'll be here and joining the group hopefully as we keep going through the session for our first game together with the group, Elio.
Hi, I'm playing Corin Pimshite, and she is an Earth Ganassi glamour bard.
Wonderful. So, everyone, we have our fantastic group all together. We have the fantastic characters described. And now, let's settle in to where exactly we left off with this group. Because for those who were not able to join us in the previous week, we had a wonderful group of, we should call them misfits, group of friends, group of know-it-alls, group of very enthusiastic book nerds, various terms that one could use for all of them, joining what appeared to be a moment of celebration in the southern halfling haven known as Avis, on the southernmost district, southernmost region of the continent of Agni. A world defined once by rebirth of a divine bird that now has been stalled in this cycle. The group, having arrived and throughout this day of rest and finally for the most part, finding people who were very accommodating, very nice, and very pleasant. Received different messages of their own kinds, some the more scholarly and friendly, some the more face-related and dream nightmare-inducing. But you awakened the next day, pursued a lead, going to a nearby library, and became acquainted with a rather interesting, fiendish librarian who was quite taken and impressed by some of your party's complete indifference to their rather hulking, fiendish form. As the festival came to its close, and the town gathered together, there came to be a moment in which the sort of de facto religious town leader, Salik, spoke amongst a crowd of festive, happy attendees, when all of a sudden, one of the attendees suddenly seemed to be taken with some sort of sickness, unleashing violence upon one of the other attendees. And that is the moment where we come in back to our story, in a moment in which violence has gripped this area. The festival goers and attendees are now being put into chaos, and I'm going to need everyone to roll me, once it's on, initiative as we get things going. Before we continue, before the next person rolls it, because you can also add this in manually, click your token, then roll the initiative. That way it puts it in the official one. Otherwise, you have to right-click on your token on Roll20, and then we'll add it in. I've pre-rolled initiative for folks on here for the two combatants you're facing, because one of the attendee who happened to lash out, which is going to be marked for our viewers and for our players on the map with this one sort of humanoid individual over here with the sort of purplish pink dot. That person, after having attacked someone, seemed to spill out some sort of cursed blood-like substance from their body, and in doing so seemed to summon some sort of what might best be described as floating, almost goblin spirit-like entity with his whole very thick, mucusy, blood-red, liquidy form with these long sort of crooked ears and this long, pointed beak kind of nose that's just snickering to itself. It's a rather dangerous time. So the party faces two combatants. I pre-rolled initiative once I remember what it was. There it is.
Is their token visible, or?
Yes. Oh, apologies, Bo. Your token should be on the map right now.
Yeah, we're not in the.
Oh, that would explain it.
Yeah.
Why?
There we go.
Apologies.
There we go.
Okay, so we should re-roll initiative then, or.
You'll be fine. We can just.
Okay.
I have you tracked. It's already on my counter, so
Okay.
we should be just fine with that.
I can't see it on mine.
I can't see it on mine either.
Could you load them into the turn order, just so we can see it as well?
Say that again.
Could you load it onto the visible turn order so we can see it as well?
It is, the turn order is being displayed currently, from what I can tell. It's on my map from what I can see. That's curious.
Am I on it? Because I rolled initiative before the math shit.
Yeah,
So I don't think
you are on. It says as your last 4.
It's not showing for me in here.
That is so strange. I do
Yeah,
not
same.
Yeah,
for
I
me.
don't.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
After the map shift, it didn't carry over.
That is so strange. Well, we can either do a full re-roll, or you can all just I can turn it off, and then you can all manually put it in again if you all don't mind doing that real quick.
Okay, either way.
Okay, I'm gonna remove this order. Turn off the initiative real quick. I've turned it back on. Is it visible for everyone currently?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so manually add your turns back on. I will do the same for your two combatants. Just so for our viewers and for our players' knowledge, there is going to be this little dragonoid wormling thing over here is going to stand in for the creature. that this attendee has summoned, and the rest of the party is roughly arranged all on the right side of this. This cleric token down here is going to stand in for Salik the leader, and the rest of these other little humanoid tokens are going to stand in for some of the festival goers. The one who has been X'd out is the one who sadly has already been killed by this attendee. So, apologies.
Nothing's happening when I right-click my token.
Same here.
Same here.
Are you doing right click? Have you right clicked while on your token itself?
Yeah.
That is weird.
Do we just re-roll then?
Yeah, or I can just put this in manually. Apologies,
Okay.
viewers. Production thing and Roll20 is being fussy today, but thank you for being patient. I will add in everyone's. Okay, that's 3 people's. It's 4. And then Corin is there as well. Okay.
It's just showing them all as 0 for me.
Yes, you will have to manually redo them again.
You can double click on the number and you can change it now. We have
Yeah, that's what I did.
Oh, okay.
Roll20 is not intuitive.
No,
Thank you.
It's not.
Thank you, other folks who also deal with Roll20 who can help me explain some of these things. Okie doke. Alright, that is coming through just fine. Okay. I think
Like,
the
mine
operative word
keeps
is-
switching to 0.
Oh, you have to press enter after you put the number in.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Our combat, where we fight the turn order.
It's there have been great stories and long tales told about the nature of man and all other humankind fighting technology. This may just be an instance where we are fighting for the purposes of our enjoyment. Okay, so I believe that is everyone's turn order. So let me just double check what's coming through for folks on here. Yep. Okie doke. Yeah, we have a turn order that I am going to try and keep away from the screen so that most of the map is clear for folks. I appreciate Baya representing my feelings towards Roll20 currently. And yes, Foxbar in chat, I agree with you. Roll20 is always the final boss. This is true in all occasions. But I have a surprise for folks, hopefully. Please work, technology. Fight music that I managed to find earlier today. Is it coming through for people? It might be just on Roll20. But with this having happened, and please double check.
I'm not hearing
Yes.
anything through Roll20.
It seems as though Twitch folks are able to hear it, so I think.
Okay.
Well, it's not on Roll20, it's on Twitch, pardon. But,
Oh, okay.
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 Yeah, I don't have that on because
Words are hard. Words are hard this evening. We're gonna start with your DM is tired. But okay, first up, Bo, it's your turn. You have with that crit, you get first go at initiative. So you have 2 enemies right here. You have what is an older fellow who seems to have this very gaunt, scraggly, long-bearded face and just very white shock of hair that appears to have blood streaks, holding an axe and a torch that DD attempted to snuff out with prestidigitation and seemed to have just relit itself. So what are you going to do?
Okay. I am going. I'm going to rage. First of all. I know everyone was waiting for that.
First rage of the campaign.
Yeah. I'm gonna rage, and she has 2 hand axes that are usually like crisscrossed on her back. And so if I want to take them both out, does that count as my whole action?
So the way that two weapon fighting works is as follows: you use your action to do your normal attack, and then you use your bonus action to do a follow-up. Normally, when you do the follow-up, it doesn't get your modifier for attacking, but I believe you have two weapon fighting, which will add your modifier. But you've used your bonus action to rage, so for this turn, you will only be able to do one attack with one of your hand axes.
Just one attack.
But I'm pretty certain you have enough speed to get over to them.
Yeah. So I'm gonna move over to him. Yeah.
You have exactly the limit you need to get over.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I will attack with one axe.
All right. So you're gonna do that. So go to your Roll20 sheet. Go to your hand axe, click on the hand axe, and it should roll the attack roll in the chat for us to be able to see it. To see whether or not it hits his armor class.
Right. Let's see what will happen.
Pray it's not a fail. Pray it's not a fail.
Does that work?
Okay, let me just double check his armor class real quick, because it's not very high from what I recall.
It's
Sadly.
But neither was her roll, so.
Neither was her roll, that is the problem.
Uh,
I'll tell you, so as you move forward, you dash forward just quickly in this fit of like just this intense rage, and you swing out the axe, but the man, he seems to still be reeling from all of the blood having emanated out of his veins to the creature, and he staggers back for a moment and moves out of the way of your attack. Just barely.
Just barely. All right, that ends my turn because rage was my bonus action.
Yes, so now it is Didi's turn.
Okay, I am going to point at the dude who started attacking everyone, and I will touch them with some chill, i.e. chill touch.
Okay, that is it Constitution saving throw, correct?
No, it's just an attack roll, and
Oh, it's attack roll, right. I'm
yeah.
thinking of frostbite, that's why.
So does it
So
13 hit?
Are you attacking the guy, or are you attacking the blood creature?
Which one's the blood creature?
The blood creature is the little wormling, this one over here. The one that Bo just tried to attack is the fellow who's marked with the purple dot.
Okay. So does it look like they've stopped attacking someone?
No. As Bo has managed to try and move forward with the hand axe to try and deliver a solid blow, you get a good look at the man's face, and it looks feral. Like, he looks lost in a fit of rage and anger, and he looks bloodthirsty.
I'll go after the blood creature because I'm not quite sure what their intentions are. And
Okay, and that's a 13. A 13 is going to hit the creature.
okay, so then
So we
4 necrotic, and they cannot heal until the end of, or until the start of my next turn.
Okay. As you manage to deal with the chill touch, you see sort of emanating sort of necrotic frost just appear all over its body, and you see a segment of the blood pool just sort of fall off of it, but it just sort of goes.
And I'm gonna move over here. Just gonna. Is that are the blue things a building?
The blue things just treat them as tents that are fully up. You could go inside of them, but like the sides, like the boundaries of them, outside of like the left and right of them, are closed. But you could go into the building. Just treat them as like they're a building you can go into, effectively.
Okay, then I will go in here, and I will, in Goblin, call out to my brother that hide. Let me protect you.
Okay.
And that's my turn.
All right. Now it's going to be the blood creature's turn. It is going to use. Yeah, answer to do that, but it's going to move closer to Bo. And Bo, I'm gonna need you to roll me a dexterity saving throw, because as this thing moves closer, you see like its whole stomach just expand tremendously, and then it just belches out this searing stream of blood just directly at you.
That sounds very unpleasant. That is a low save.
Okay. As the blood lands onto you, you suddenly start feeling your muscles start getting slowed down and your movements are hindered. You are restrained for 1 minute.
Okay.
You can repeat the saving throw at the end of your turns, but until you do, you're effectively restrained. So
Okay.
that's that effect, but that is its whole action. Now that it has done that, it sort of turns to the man, and the man just sort of nods, and it's going to try flying at the rest of the party. That's 10, 15. Sadly, it only has a movement speed of 20, so it cannot move very far. But that is its turn. Corin, you're up. You're a little bit separate away from the party. I put you more down in the bottom right to just effectively represent. You got a little bit lost and left behind by the party just because of some personal matters that you were attending to, but you're at the same festival location. You've seen the same incident. You're just a little bit farther away from them. But your token is down here. You have action, bonus action, and movement. What are you going to do?
I'm going to go ahead and use my movement to move closer to the creature so that I'd be closer in range. So I'm going to go ahead and move all 30 feet right over here.
Okay.
That's
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
You got 10 more feet.
you can, yeah, you can go right next to me. Or yeah.
Yeah. Where are you again? The red figure?
Yeah, the red figure just like 2 squares north of you. So you can go
Okay.
next to me or the 2 squares over.
I'm going to go right here.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah. And that's my turn.
Okay, so you're choosing just to do your movement? Because right now you still have an action and a bonus action you can do.
Let me see if I'd be in range.
'Cause-
Okay, yes, I am. So.
Okay.
So my movement was does movement count as an action again? I forgot.
So the way it works for viewers, so we know we do have some folks who are relatively new to the system. So to explain it, you have on each of your turns you have an action, a bonus action, and you have a movement. Those are 3 separate things. Your movement will be whatever your player character is able to move around. So I believe because you're Ganassi, you have 30 feet. Then you have an action that you could cast a spell, you could make an attack, or you could use one of your features if you have something that uses something for an action or a bonus action. So you're a bard, so for example, you could use Bardic Inspiration as a bonus action and then cast something like one of your cantrips like Vicious Mockery.
Okay, I see. Yeah,
provides some
I'm going to
clarification.
go ahead. That does. I'm gonna go ahead and cast Vicious Mockery on them, and
Okay,
it has to make wisdom save.
Vicious Mockery, so it has to make
Oh.
a DC 13 wisdom save. I am pretty certain these things are not very wise. No, it does not pass that with a 7th. So, in doing that, so if I may ask, what does it sort of look like when Corin is viciously mocking this little blood creature that's just sort of giggling to itself maniacally?
She's going to like point at it and be like, "Are you supposed to be threatening? Because honestly, you're the least of the things I've had to deal with today. Like, please make a better attempt."
You see it still doing sort of maniacal giggling, but there's like a split second where it just makes like a very like sad, unhappy face, and then it suddenly and it seems to like clutch its own very mucusy, blood red head in pain, as you deal, what is it? There's 2 points of psychic damage. So this thing is starting to look kind of hurt. Not on death's door by any means, but it has been hurt. And it is also, I believe, because of Vicious Mockery, it's going to have disadvantage on its next attack to hurt someone, to try and attack someone. So you still have a bonus action if you have anything that uses for bonus action, which I think Bardic Inspiration does, but if we wanted to simplify, we could just keep going. If you're good for your turn now. It's up to you.
Yeah, that's my turn.
Okay. So, with that, Baisha, it's your go.
Wait, 3 questions real quick.
Yes.
So when we ended last session, I said I'll just blast it. Are you going to hold me to that? Because a bunch of other things have happened now.
I'll say it was more for the sake of that was only not going to happen because we were running out of time and I didn't want to get fully into combat. Like, I think it all just sort of happened at once and that we would have started it, but I'm just going to, just for the sake of simplicity, just this time, just not count it for this occasion, if that's okay, just for this occasion.
So I can do as I would like.
Yes, you can do as you would like. You're not going to be held to do Eldritch Blast this turn.
Second question, what's your basic ruling for talking during combat? So, like, do we only talk on our turns? Can we respond?
You
like,
can respond. You can.
Okay.
I'm going to have it just be, the rule will be from here on out, don't do a monologue unless you'd like to use your entire action and turn to do so, but you can do like a relatively like short, like think like elevator pitch level of talking, if that makes sense. Like go for that kind of
level.
Okay.
Unless you're a bard, then you get 6 elevator pitches. It is exclusive to the bard.
That covers what I was wondering then. Okay, so then to Didi, I'm going to be like, we need to figure out what they want first. I'm going to quickly take a look around at the faces of the people near me, in particular Salik. Is Salik retreating? Does Salik look alarmed? Does Salik look like...
Salik looks shocked by all of this happening and is like, you can see them, because this is all like within the same kind of like 6-second sort of round, because time is wibbly wobbly and all that in D&D.
Right.
They are just like starting, you see them reaching out their hands and calling out to other people, no, you have to leave, please leave, everyone now, leave, let us handle this. They're just they're scared is the takeaway, but they're trying to go into like get shit done mode.
Okay, what's Salik's position on the map?
Salik is the that cleric token at the bottom that you see, this one right over here.
Okay.
That is them. They're effectively like this has not been like a covertly done thing that this person died. This was in the middle of a crowd. I just didn't want to like put like 50 tokens of crowded people, so there's just a few people that represent folks who could still be attacked by this person if you don't stop them.
Gotcha. I am going to move in front of Salik, and as I move there, I will say, if you can't fight, you should get back, sir, too. Turning back, I would like to hold an action, targeting... What does Bo currently look like to me? Like, does it look like...
You see Bo is not in pain, but Bo's like whole movements, which for up to this point you've been seeing Bo walk around like very confidently strong movement and what have you. They're suddenly very sluggish and she's like having trouble moving. It's like, imagine like hardened amber, but blood all over her body that's just restricting her movements. She has the restrained condition, but narratively that's what you see. And I'd say you have enough knowledge to see it does not look good if she does not get out of it as quickly.
I'm gonna hold action against the bloodworm. Trigger will be if it attacks one of my teammates, and the held action will be the command spell, with the command being collapse.
Got it. All right, so that's your action that you're holding. Are you doing it? Do you have a bonus action or anything else you want to do?
No.
Okay.
Actually, let me change the trigger to just if it moves within 5 feet of them, that'll be the trigger.
Got it. Okay, so Baya, you are holding an action. You are going to use your reaction to deal with that. Now we move to the corrupted villagers. I'm going to lower the fight music a little bit because I'm getting feed from chat. That's sounding a little bit better on all of you, chat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna just quickly double check this condition, because I know it's nasty. Restrained. Alrighty, here we go. Restrained, you, Bo, so that you're fully aware of everything that's happening. Restrained condition. you currently... Come on, where are you? You
It's,
have your movement speed is 0. You cannot benefit
Right.
from any bonus to your speed. Your attack roll, anyone who tries to make an attack roll against you will have advantage, and you have disadvantage, and you also have disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. So that is what you're dealing with, and the corrupted villager, knowing this, is gonna try and take an attack at you with advantage, with both
Okay.
his axe and his torch. But oh no, wait, that's the other creature. So it's gonna roll for it. It only has +3, so that's going to be. But it's at advantage, so that is gonna be a 22 to hit.
Yes.
All right. So for the villager, it's 1d8. I'm gonna do this as a group roll. 8 plus. Well, not as a group roll, as a open roll, so that folks know I'm not trying to hold back on damage. All right, that's going to be with the axe. That's going to be 6 points of slashing damage as he reaches out with the axe to hit you. Because you are raging, cut down to half, so it's only 3
Half.
points of damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's going to try and burn you with the torch. That's 19 to hit with the first one, and a 7 to hit with the second one. So with the second hit with the torch, that's a 19 to hit you.
Yep, that hits.
Okay. That is going to be 8. That's 7 points of fire damage, which
Okay.
I believe you do not have a reduction in right now.
No.
Okay. And then... Yeah, he's going to focus on you while the rest of the... While he leaves the blood creature to deal with everyone else. Now, it's the villager's turn. All of the villagers are effectively just going to take their entire action to dash and leave. And Salik is going to try 10, 15, 20, 30 to get in closer. And is going... You see, all of a sudden...
Does Salik
them-
respond to me at all?
Salik is saying, I will help you as best that I can with healing. Just give me a moment. And they are going to try, and you see them hold up a holy symbol that looks to be a coin made of various little fragments of copper, silver, gold, platinum, and electrum. And they hold it up and they speak words, and if you know Celestial, you'll understand them. But if you don't, you'll not hear them, and they will
Okay.
I believe you do not have a reduction in right now. Okay?
No.
Okay. And then... Okie doke. And they are going to cast towards you, Bo, because they see you getting hurt. They are going to speak a healing word towards you. So you regain 8 points of healing because they rolled max healing on that.
Oh, that's nice. I shouldn't have changed my HP so quickly.
It helps that you came at the moment a cleric is in the town. Well, 2 clerics are currently in the town because of Azulath as well. But they are going to try also, and speaking a holy rite, you see a flame of divine energy erupt around the man who's trying to attack you. He's going to make a dexterity saving throw. That's 14 plus his dex is 0, but 14 is Salik's DC, so unfortunately the flame will not do any damage. Salik, for purposes of combat, Salik is working with the party right now.
Okay.
But that is pretty much all they could do. They could just try and keep you topped up. And Azulath, it is now your turn. They're like, please do what you can to help them. I will keep you healed. Just take care of the creatures.
Yeah, cool. So I'm going to move a little further back. But, yeah, so I'm gonna cast Sacred Flame on the guy.
Okay. And the DC that they have to beat for your spell,
Is 13.
13. Okay, so I'm going to roll this right now. We're going to see what happens. Nope, they do not pass that with a natural 1. Natural 1 is not going to pass that.
Yeah, alright, so I'll do a d8. So 5 plus...
I think, yeah, it's only just the D8.
No, it's d8. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the D8, but with you
Oh, I
targeting the
thought
guy.
something.
Cantrips a lot of times don't include your casting
Okay.
modifier.
I was looking at another spell, so I think that's right.
Yeah.
I mixed up.
But as you do that, the flame erupts around the man, and he just howls in pain. And the holy sort of light and fire that erupts around him deals a very solid damage to him. He's taken a pretty significant hit with that. So if you have any more movement, you still have movement, and you have a bonus action if you can do anything else.
I don't think there's anything else. Yeah. I'm good.
Okay. Top of the round. Bo, you're up.
Okay. So do I have to wait till the end of my turn to make the dex saving throw?
Yes, unfortunately, the way that this sort of searing plasma breath works is that it restrains you for a minute, and you only get to do the saving throw at the end of your turns. You can still make attacks. You will just be currently at a disadvantage. To do them. And you will still get the 2 attacks if you use your action and your bonus action to do it. But both of them will be at disadvantage.
Right. Okay.
Up to you.
Yeah, because she's raging right now, so of course she's making 2 attacks against the guy who's still right there. Was he named?
No,
Do we know
you
okay.
have no name as of
Okay.
yet about.
Yeah, she's just gonna like try and fight through this and swing at him with both of her axes, like one at a time.
Okay, so click to roll for your attack and then click it again so we can see which of those 2, if either of them will hit. We'll take the lowest one and we'll see what happens.
Oh, I
you have it on advantage. Okay, great. Yeah, even with a 19, you're gonna hit him. Yeah, that's a solid.
That is the
4
best
points of damage.
disadvantage
And,
I have ever gotten.
I believe also, because that's only with your, from what I can tell, that's only with your +3 to strength. I believe you also, as a barbarian, are doing constant rage damage as well. That you'll have to remember for next time as a heads up, which I believe at your current level is only +2. So right now you do 6 points of slashing damage.
Okay. Oh yes, yeah, I do get a +2.
I figured it was.
I didn't know how to put that in for.
There's a global thing that I can tell you
Yeah.
how to do.
We can figure it out, but just bear in mind, whatever damage you roll just with the sheet currently, you're going to be getting 2 additional damage to that. But as you do land that hit, the second one does not hit,
Yeah.
but as you landed the first one, he's staggered heavily. And
Nice.
he is looking to be in severe pain, like maybe one more hit will do it.
I'm gonna also take my dex save and see if I can shake out of this. Now, is that also at
That is
disadvantage?
also at disadvantage because the restrained condition imposes a disadvantage.
Okay. No.
Sadly, no. You're like fighting through this, but it's just starting to harden all over parts of your skin, and it's just you can't seem to move out of it.
Okay.
But is that your turn?
That is my turn.
Alrighty. Bo's turn being done. Didi, you're up.
Okay, so I look at that blood creature and I say, ding dong, the witch is dead, and I dole the dead.
On the blood creature, correct? Okay.
Yes.
Wisdom.
So
It's a DC 14 wisdom.
if they fail it, it's actually a D12, I believe.
Yep, because they are damaged. And they only rolled a 12, and their modifier to wisdom is 0.
Yeah, for some reason it's I think I might not have put the spell in correctly, so I'll have to change that. So I'll just
No worries,
manually
just roll it in chat, 1d12, because they failed the wisdom save.
Aw, seriously?
Hey, every little bit counts. Everyone's doing their part. Okay,
And
so
I'm gonna move as well, so 5, 10.
Huh.
15.
Wait, we're getting. Hold on. Before we continue on, chat is letting me know currently the cameras are frozen. Is it frozen for everyone else?
Let me check.
Yeah, it's frozen on my screen.
Yeah, it's frozen for me too.
It's
Are
strange.
we frozen in attractive poses?
No.
Highly likely no.
So they can still hear us, but the picture is frozen.
Okay, it's starting to move for me, but it's really slow.
Hello, can folks still hear us at the very least? Apologies for taking some time to get through that chat. Huh, that's
Audience.
strange.
That's weird. Is it here again? Your voice was skipping from me like right when we opened Zoom, but it's better now. But
Okay, let me just double check. The
Oh no,
chat.
Burns.
Oh no, you're back.
Hold on, just double checking. Right now, it might just be Twitch acting up, or it might be my internet. Right, I haven't received any issues that have been going on with my internet, but just double checking. And chat. Media Junkie's frozen face is amazing. We love you, Mariam. You make the best faces.
What? What face do I have?
Apparently, you just have. I can't tell from my end because my Twitch is frozen and it's acting up. But
Just mouth agape, apparently.
yeah.
wait, hold on. No. Apologies for pausing combat real quick, everyone, while I try and sort out these production issues.
Fine. That's cool. I only did 20 feet of my movement.
Feel free to do the rest of your movement that you have available.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna move here, and that's like my movement.
Double checking to see if it's getting fixed. Oh, love to you as well, Sonic.
I'm gonna post a screenshot of all of our beautiful faces.
We've discovered very early on, through only 2 sessions, who the troll of our campaign is going to be.
Boy.
No comment.
It's like this is fine. Okay, now my Twitch is just not agreeing. Okay, folks can still hear us at the very least.
It's moving for me, but like extremely slowly.
Yeah, it's like on slow motion for me.
Okay, I'm gonna try and clean up some things on my end to see if that helps. Hopefully that should lower the stress. Yeah, okay.
What if we just do stop motion D&D?
God damn it, Ant. Well, I'm gonna keep combat moving on if they can at least hear us, because, oh dear, it's still frozen on us. Yeah, I'm closing my Twitch. Maybe that's just the problem. Has it cleared up for people? Because I've closed my Twitch to just make it easier with some things.
Hold on, I'm gonna refresh.
No, it still looks frozen
No.
to me.
Yeah, it looks the same.
Yeah, I do see recommendations of just like not having your Twitch screen active because it does eat a lot of bandwidth.
Yeah, I've closed it entirely, and I've closed a lot of different things as well. think for the purposes of this, I'm going to reduce the strain on my computer by closing all of these things. And okay, doke. Is Twitch able to hear us? Twitch is still able to hear us. It's just a visual problem currently, right?
We're just messing with chat
Yes.
now. Still frozen. Everything's still frozen.
I'm so proud of my players. I'm so proud of all of you.
And if I sound like on Twitch, if my chat sounds like it's two different people, it probably is because we share an account, my spouse and I.
Oh.
Here at Twitch, we welcome to the party. We abide by the most professional standards, namely guarantee production issues every week, despite my best efforts. Have we unfrozen?
Is it really D&D if something doesn't go terribly wrong right when you want it to?
I mean, I
not
feel like
really.
not
Yeah.
technical difficulties, but
I
you asked for Frozen. That's my answer to you.
Yeah, it's still frozen.
Is it because I chill touched everybody?
God damn it, Miriam. I'm, for the sake of just trying to keep things going a little bit, I don't know currently what's going on on my end with everything. I am going to just try and keep things pushing along, but apologize to chat for this being a little bit messy currently as we're trying to sort out all the details. I think for the sake of carrying on while we work to see what the camera issue is, I'm going to try and just keep combat going. That is not happening. We're still definitively frozen on Twitch, correct?
Yeah.
Ah, dear.
Shall we let it go?
I think we should let it go for the next bit of time while that's going to be
Yeah.
on my end to figure out what's happening. Because I'm currently trying not to close our Zoom so that it doesn't affect our cameras and it doesn't ruin the map they now cannot see. Oh dear. I'm
Did
gonna
you
keep-
try lowering the quality?
I did.
Okay.
I have lowered it. I will lower it once again just to see. Let me
We're
give it-
just all frozen and having a good time.
Yep.
You can't hold it back anymore, so just let it go.
Okay. I have lowered some of the quality a little bit to try and make it easier. I am trying to work with what I have available, but unless Throck or someone else direct messages me, there's not so much, from what I can tell, what I can do about the cameras. Or camera, rather. Apologies to all of our viewers who can still hear us currently with this being the issue.
The cold never bothered you anyway.
Chat, so quick check-in. Chat can still hear us. We are still frozen. And by your command trigger was once the creature gets within any of your comrades, correct?
Yep.
Okay. That is going to go off because the creature on its turn is going to try and fly closer to Corin.
All right. I shout out collapse, and it must make a charisma saving throw against spell save DC of 13.
13. So charisma, which I'm... Oh, unfortunate. It rolled a 15 and it has a -2 to charisma. So it just passes.
Just barely escaped.
Oh.
It is.
I shouted it to collapse, and then I look down at my hand, and I'm like, damn it, monkey. Now's not the time to act up.
You just hear very faint demonic giggling in the back of your head. It
Okay.
is.
It's working again.
I
It's
think,
working?
yeah, I was just gonna say, I think we're working again.
Thank you,
Yeah.
monkey.
It was the monkey. It was the monkey all along. The true treasure was the monkey inside of us all along. Corin, it's gonna try and attack you, but it only has a +3 and it rolled a 9, so I don't think a 12 hits you because I think your armor class is 13, correct? So you go to your sheet, go to your AC or armor class at the top
Yeah,
of
it's
your sheet.
13.
Yeah, so this little and this thing is not massive. It appeared out of formed from the blood pulled from the veins of this sort of bloodthirsty villager, and it's just like maybe 2 feet total in its height and full form, and it tries to just form a fist out of the blood from its own body to punch at you, but it misses and it just doesn't land. And that is its turn, because it only has 20 feet of movement. Corin, it is now your turn. Oh wait, and also that thing was at disadvantage too. Oh, very good. Yeah, I'm really glad that was at disadvantage, because it rolled a crit on its other roll.
Ooh.
So that was a very good call with the Vicious Mockery. So, Corin, it is your turn. You have action, bonus action, and movement. If you try and move out of its space currently, it will get an attack of opportunity on you. Just so you're aware, you can take an action to take
Since it
disengage.
is attacking me, I'm going.
Go right ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, hold on. It's saying my internet connection is unstable. So I'm going to go ahead and cast not Dissonant Whispers. Wait. Yes, Dissonant Whispers on
Okay.
it.
Feel free to plug that into the chat if you can. And you only have it at level 1, but it's... Okay. Oh, wow. That's going to be a lot of damage if it fails, and even if it succeeds, it's still going to be a lot of damage. So, what is the DC for your spell that it has to save against? Because I believe it's a wisdom saving throw, correct?
Yeah, Wisdom is 13.
13. Okay, so it's going to roll wisdom saving throw. It rolls a 14. So, it's still going to take half damage, so it's not going to flee from you. I believe according to the spell, it takes half damage on a success, but that is still 6 points of spooky damage. And whereas this thing was kind of solidly formed in all of its almost goblinoid-like structure, its sections of its little wings, these little like blood liquid mucus wings it's been flapping with, are starting to get holes in it, and it's starting to fall apart. So you have a bonus action, and you have movement.
So I'd have to. Okay, I think that's my turn.
Okay. If that is going to be your turn, it is now Baya. It's your turn.
I'm moved 10 feet back, and I'm gonna say, if you want to collapse for me, then disperse from me. And I'm gonna cast Eldritch Blast against the small dragon thing.
All right, fire away at it. Let's see what the rolls are.
Rip. 12?
It's a
Is that
12?
high?
A 12 hits its armor class.
Awesome. I do 1 point of force damage.
Wait, actually? Oh my god, you did. That wasn't me trying to give you sass. I'm just like, wait, really? That can't be right. But yeah. It would appear your monkey patron is still quite angry at you.
I'm gonna mumble, I want invocations. I end my turn.
Still have to level up, bro.
That works both in and out of character. I adore you. The blood villager Yeah, he's going crazed, but Bo, roll me an insight check real quick. And I would say actually Korin and Azerlath as well. I'd say based off your positioning, I think you have the clearest view to see them. Roll me insight.
Okay.
Bye.
So go to your sheets, go down to your skill set, and pick insight.
Oh, that's sorry. I still had the disadvantage.
No, I take the left roll. I would say it's not a high insight. Korin, Bo, Azerlath, you're just trying to deal with the little incoming blood creature that's flying at Korin at you.
Mhm.
Bo and Korin, even while you're dealing with this thing, you take a look over at the villager. Something about his movements seem forced. Like something feels like it's compelling him. Like this is perhaps not something he's doing of his own accord. So you
Okay.
have you and Bo, I would say, because it was not a high check. It was a very simple check. You have a sense that something is up about this guy. Nevertheless, the guy is going to try and attack Bo with advantage. That's a 14 to hit you, Bo.
Nope.
Yeah, he tries to
Miss.
reach out with the axe, and even while you're stuck in this sort of viscous blood amber material, just lean out of the way. He's going to try and move forward with the torch and try and burn you with it. That is a 15.
No, that is still a miss also.
Okay. He tries to move forward with the torch. Same thing happens. You're just like it's like you're off beat from each other when you're
Somehow.
trying to dance. Like he keeps stepping like in between as it happens. It's like, come on, corrupted villager, you have advantage on these attacks. I realize your modifier is
Right?
not high, but that's his turn. There's nothing else that he can do.
Okay.
The villagers are going to try and run. Salik is just trying. Hold on, let me do a quick thing with them. Yeah, I'll say they recognize what this blood creature is. Salik is going. Baya, I think you were close enough to Salik to hear them mutter a few words in Oren. They focus for a second and they hold up with the one good arm that they have, their holy symbol, and gesture it out towards the blood creature. Unfortunately, this guiding bolt of energy that they attempt to fire to hit it just careens off. The creature, with the holes that it's taken from that appear to the damage, it doesn't land. Rolled a 4, and with a +6 to hit, it doesn't land. That's gonna be it for Salik's turn. Salik is gonna stay back and just not get involved directly in the fray. Azerlath.
Alright, I'm gonna Sacred Flame again.
Okay. With this, the creature has to make a dexterity saving throw. Not with a 5.
Yeah, definitely not.
Definitely not. So that is a d8 of radiant damage towards this creature. Woo! Is to the blood creature, to the villager? Just double clarification.
Blood creature.
Blood creature. Okay. Yeah, this thing is looking as bad and as hurt as the villager is currently. It's
Cool.
And with that being done, you have a bonus action, Azerlath. You can still cast a spell if you have a bonus action. Which you do have a bonus action, because you only used a cantrip for your main spell.
Yeah, I'm gonna save my spell slots.
Okay. Are you going to move away from this creature? You do have some room.
I'm going to move in front of the villager, just in case.
Okay. Top of the round, Bo. You're back up. You're still
Yes.
restrained, so you still have disadvantage. But you do have the
I know.
information that I gave you previously. You do get the sense
Right.
that this villager is something's bothering him.
So I think I actually want to hold my action until like if he tries to attack me again, then I will like reciprocate.
Okay.
but otherwise, I think I just want to try the dex save again.
So you are going to hold your action to retaliate. You only get the one attack, because if you're going to do a second-hand attack, that has to be part of an attack action as a heads up.
Right.
Okay, but
Yeah,
you're
that's
holding your
fine.
action, and you're going to finish out your turn just using the dex save.
Yep.
Okay,
That's
roll
what
your
I'm-
dexterity saving throw at disadvantage to see if you can break out of this creature's hold.
Okay.
Yeah, even with the lower one, finally you just flex for a second and just all the blood just like it's hardened to an intense amber-like consistency, but you just shatter it. It's the end of your turn, but you're free.
Okay.
And before I get to Dee Dee's turn, quick question. Do you let anyone else know what you know about the villager?
Yeah. Well, that's you said it's okay to kind of talk a
Yes.
little bit. Like I'm not
if
gonna.
it's short, if it's
Yeah.
if it's like again, elevator pitch.
Mhm.
Keep it
I'm
within
gonna.
that lane.
Yeah, I think I am gonna actually shout out. I think he's being compelled.
Okay. I would say the range that everyone's in, they're within 60 feet that they can all hear this.
Okay.
Dee Dee, it's your turn.
I'm going to again stole the blood creature, and I actually fixed it now, so hopefully that should work. So if it
Oh boy, that's going to be a lot of damage if it fails. Which it
Yeah.
does not. That is a
so
17.
no damage.
Ooh.
I believe, yeah, if they save, then no damage.
Okay. So all right, do you have anything for a bonus action or any movement that you want to take?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep moving forward. So 5, 15, 20, 30. There.
Okay. All right, so that's going to be your turn. It is now going to be the blood creature's turn to roll to see if it gets this back. It has its searing plasma breath recharged, and it's going to use it on you, Corin. Corin, I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw. As once again, this creature inhales in its stomach this vast amount of just boiling hot blood, and it fires at you. So go to your sheet, go to saving throws, and click dexterity. Oh yeah,
Wow.
you like Matrix style move and flip out of the way as this, like it tries to fire it off you, and it just sort of lands at like Azerlath's feet. The robes are not bothered, I promise you this. But that's all it can do, and it's gonna flee. It does not like getting hurt by anyone. So 5, 10, 15, 20, because it's relying on that to get any damage done. But as it does so, Corin, if you have a dagger or any sort of melee weapon, you are allowed to take a attack of opportunity on the creature for it flying away from you.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
Okay. Sadly, with critical fail, you reach out to do it, but it just sort of like one of its feet, it just kind of giggles and cackles at you, and it just like kicks off from your dagger. But your dagger helps propel it forward, oddly enough. But that's it for its turn. It cannot move very much. Corin, it is your turn.
Alright, well, that pissed me off, so I'm gonna take out my crossbow and fire it at it.
Okay. Click beneath the click on light crossbow to see how much damage you do. Corin, with the first one of the campaign, how would you like to finish this?
Like I said, she's pissed off because he ran away from her, so she literally like watches it run away, and she just like calmly takes out her crossbow and like aims it and just like shoots it, like totally deadpan.
As it turns away, it just sort of like almost mockingly laughs at you for having tried to stab it, but it turns its head because it's like, it's not a big deal. They're not going to be able to do anything to me. And then it looks back one more time to like almost point with its finger to laugh at you. the bolt goes through the finger, through the hand, and catches it right through the mouth.
Oh.
However, there is one additional thing that I need to note happens. That should be very thankful that this happened while it was fleeing. It slowly swells up, and all of the blood, the same sort of effect that you saw of the searing plasma breath, it being done at will, its whole body just expands, and it, within 5 feet radius around it, it just bursts into boiling blood. Thankfully, nobody is in range, so no one gets hurt, except Dee Dee, you definitely see how bad it could have gotten.
Is there like a splatter across my face, like it's there, but no actual mechanical damage?
Yes.
Or...
Yeah, it's pretty much like someone just went.
And I have this look of abject horror, and I'm just like, I just bought this!
Corin, here you go. You have a bonus action or movement if you want to help out and helping Bo deal with the villager.
Yeah, which one is the villager?
Over here, this one, the one that's
Okay.
diagonally across from Bo.
Okay. I guess I'll go ahead and move a little closer to it. Probably about here. That'll great.
I love this group. All right, Corin, that's your go.
I just move closer and that's my turn.
Okay. Baiha, it's your turn.
Okay, I'm gonna yell to Bo. Do you want him to get down on the ground? As I begin to run forward.
You have a quick reaction to respond, Bo.
Yeah, it'd be a good idea to restrain him if possible.
Okay, that's what they've told you, Baiha.
I am going to command the corrupted villager to drop. So, charisma save against 13.
Rolled an 18 with -1 to charisma.
Wow.
Baya makes a vaguely sad face, but it is able to make it, I think, no, not quite. Okay, so Baya can make it there. I'm also going to use a free object interaction to draw my quarterstaff.
Got it. Okay, that will be, I believe, unless you have a bonus action that you can do.
Nope, ending my turn.
Alrighty. The villager is just... Bo, and I'd say Baya, you're closest, you just start hearing the villager just muttered, "The blood, the sweet blood has compelled me. She's told me to do this," and is going to take 2 more attacks on Bo. Because he can't do anything else at this point.
Okay.
He's pretty wiped out with his resources. That's going to be a 21 to hit you with the axe.
That does hit.
And then a fail with the torch.
Okay.
A critical fail with the torch, so he drops the torch for the first time in this entire thing. And he seems to regain a partial amount of his faculties, but he's still going forward with that axe swing.
Okay.
So that's 1d8 plus 1. Wait, why is it like that? Apologies. That's going to be 5 points of slashing damage to you, Bo. Cut in half because you're raging, so that's 2 points of slashing damage, and that's it.
Okay.
That's it. And... Salik is going to hold their turn for a trigger. Say, if you can knock him out before I have to, please take him out, otherwise I will have to make difficult decisions. Azerlath, you're up. You've heard you've heard them make the call about that the villager seems to be affected in some way.
Yeah, I'm going to cast Sacred Flame again, with the logic that if it's a bad thing, then Sacred Fire will do something.
Okay.
Because I'm single-minded like that.
I love the
I
reasoning.
will burn the evil out of you.
Yes! That is
Okay.
exactly.
That's a 1. This poor villager has just been feeling holy light this entire encounter from Azerlath. Okay, Azerlath. This is an important question I have to ask. Are you trying to go for fatal damage, or are you trying to go for non-fatal damage?
I'm trying to go for non-fatal for me now.
Okay. Roll me an Arcana check. Just a very simple Arcana check. Okay, that's more than enough. You take care by just holding on to the holy symbol that you have. You feel a divine sort of flame, almost as though it emerges from the end of your finger. Like you, for a moment, only you, not anyone else, sees like a little book page and a little marker in between books just fall on the tip of your hand. And you hear a voice in your ear to say, "I've got you." The flame fires out and it burns the villager, but you take care with your magic to ensure that the damage is not fatal and the villager passes out. The villager is knocked out. We are out of initiative.
I cast prestidigitation immediately, and just
It's like, must get clean, must get clean, must get clean.
yep. If we were still in combat, I literally was going to do only that.
But no, you're entirely out of combat. Salik is just there. It's just a look of just shock and intense worry. They have no sense of why this has happened, from what any of you can tell.
Dire wolves, you say? That's the only thing that attacks this village.
I'm gonna walk over, and since I just watched the person burn up in like some holy fire, I'm gonna take their pulse and see if they're still alive.
Roll me a medicine check.
Okay.
That's more than enough. It was a very low DC, but if you hadn't reached the DC, I was just going to tell you, as far as you know, they're dead. But no, you feel a pulse, and I would say, Baya, because you were before I actually answer that, how are you choosing to? Are you just going to like just check the veins? Or are you touching them directly? What are you doing?
I'm just like putting my hand on their neck where the artery would be.
Okay. You see, as you pull back the collar just ever so faintly, it looks as though there's a runic mark on the neck where it's almost like an artery's been severed. And it seems as though this might have been one of the origin points for the blood having flown out. It came out from the veins, but it seems as though this might have been the point where it sort of started leaking out from.
Is it still bleeding currently, or is
No.
it...
That's the weirdest thing. Now that you're looking at it, there's no light to the runes, there's no activation to it whatsoever. It's just there, and it's almost like someone cauterized a wound. That's kind of what it looks like now.
Azerlath, you know things about everything, right? Can you come take a look at this? I'm not really sure what to make of it, but there's a cut where the artery should be, but no blood's coming out.
What check should I make for this?
I would say it depends on the kind of information you want to get out of it. If you're looking just to figure out what happened with the body, it would be a medicine check. If you're looking to guess the nature of the particular runes that you can see, it would be an Arcana check.
Okay, I'm gonna do an Arcana check.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
If you have rope, I don't.
So Azulath, you start looking at this, and the symbols seem to be written. Do you read either Celestial or Infernal?
I read Celestial.
It's strange. It seems as though, for as demonic and as horrid as a lot of these runes seem to be written in, the base sort of like components of the sort of structure to them seem to be written in Celestial. And they just seem to be, they spell out the word blessing, and they just seem to be, they speak to something that you recall being somewhere in the realm of either necromantic or enchantment-based magic. You don't really know for certain, but as far as you know, it's nothing pleasant.
Yeah, and it's also mixed with infernal, so it's like a
Yep.
dual sort of thing.
Yep.
Does deity speak infernal?
You can
Does
ask
anybody have rope?
the entire time.
I
Baya's
do.
just like
Okay,
rope.
but the nerd.
Oh,
Plus-
what I'm doing
plus-
is basically like furious. I just walk over, step through the blood, and press to digitate as I'm stepping through the blood, and I walk up to Salik and be like, "So the only thing this town sees is dire wolves, is it?"
I do not know what you are hoping to imply by all of these things, but this is the first time something like this has happened in the town. This is not a place of demonic influence of any kind. This is just
Really? And I look towards the barn where the library is.
Oh, you mean
Oh,
Isba?
get the librarians read the infernal. That's right.
Are you saying all this out loud, or are you just musing?
Yes. No, I'm saying all this out loud. I am completely just trying to figure out
Infernal. I speak infernal. Why do you need somebody to speak infernal?
because there's infernal runs on here. Look,
Where?
Celestial.
I sort of like tilt my head down since I'm not as observant.
I think that I'll sort of read that as sort of like narratively, as like Azerlath is so short that they're just closer to the body, whereas Baya, you're not super tall, but pretty much everyone is significantly taller than Azerlath. So
Well,
there's
I
just a
think-
moment.
I also think my focus was like subduing. And, like,
Yeah, so
making sure-
you would have been like trying to like tie it, or just trying to be like, what are you doing over there? And then you're like, now you're seeing more of it.
Yeah, just look. They're
Baya, because you read Infernal, you can look at it and you just see sort of it's strange. It's almost like imagine an infinity symbol, like one set of the bands connecting all around it are just in Celestial, and that was the section that Azerlath was able to read, and the other section of it combined together just reads payment in full. And then you just see a very there's a term in it. It's like very old infernal that just translates to blood. Like it's almost like, imagine the phrase payment in full, blood.
I'm gonna grip Azerlath's hand and I'm gonna be like, why is half of this so pretty? I have never thought infernal is. Oh, I can't read that half.
yes, that's celestial. It's something to do with necromancy and enchantments.
Celestial is a language to do with The other half says payment in full blood, if you need the translation. Hold on. Celestial is to do with necromancy, you say?
That's what it's talking about.
Oh, that
Yes.
makes more sense.
Yeah.
But I look disappointed.
It's like, wait, was it going to get interesting and cool? No, just.
Well, no. So for Baya, I mean, I was hoping there would be evidence that Celestial was indeed not a good language or indicative or had some flaws.
Nope.
That's why.
Also, while Didi is trying to talk to Salik and the two of them are involved, what are Corin and Bo doing? Because I have not actually asked you. Are you still with the body as well, or what are you two doing?
So what Bo would see Aserlith and Baya like talking to the villagers, so she would definitely end her rage. And Bo does have
That's good.
rope, so she would go over and like perhaps help Baya maybe try to actually tie this guy up to keep him restrained.
Okay. So Bo's doing that. What is Corin doing at this moment? Is Corin just sort of hanging out in the midst of all this, just like,
Yeah, I
the
feel
fuck
like
is
yeah,
happening?
because I feel like she recognizes that like medicine is and arcana aren't really like her strong points, so she's just kind of like, y'all take care of this. I'm just gonna watch.
It's like, okay, bye. Okay, but yeah, you just there's some folks who've like kind of come back from the crowd. There's some people who were hiding in the tents, like some of the wares people. You hear the very enthusiastic salesman, wild mage goblin, just sort of peeking out of a tent, just sort of like, is it over? Is it all okay? And just sort of like very kind of unnerving smile on his face. But anyone who looks at him, you can kind of tell he's scared, but it just always looks like he's smiling. Not the most pleasant fellow, but there's just folks seem entirely shocked by this, and the whole area just seems. Folks don't know what to make of this, and like Didi, Salik's expression of just like this doesn't happen here, like that kind of vibe. That's reflected on pretty much all the villagers' faces. Like no one here really seems to be. They don't get it.
This is the first time I think any of the other party members have ever seen Dee Dee so downright furious. And yeah, you know that when I'm in that sort of anger, it's probably to do with, like, you know, I get very angry whenever either your or my safety is word salad. I'm having trouble trying to get the word. Is endangered.
Compromised?
Compromised, yes.
Okay, if I know that that's why you're upset, I'm gonna, once I'm done and like very relieved that Bo, unlike all of us, has rope and is sensible, I'm gonna like.
I'm not sensible at all.
I'm gonna pout. Well, I don't know that.
I might just toll the dead this guy just because they were responsible. They should have been responsible.
I'm gonna pout at you, Dee, and I'm gonna be like, "This wasn't so big a threat. I can handle myself with this sort of thing. What do you think this is? It's a villager with blood leaking out his neck. That's not going to be dangerous. Half the job is done for us. He bled it all out into that weird dragon thing."
I will never recover from hearing that phrasing ever again in my life.
I just look at you almost like stupidly, and then
I adopt a proud stance. Chin up, shoulders back, chest forward. For some reason, the GM is doing it for me, but okay.
I like to perform.
I cool down and I just walk over to you and I just hug you.
I like stiffen up. I hug you back, and I'm like, I thought you were going for the tough image. This is not the tough image.
While
Let me have it.
While this is happening, Azerlath, you see behind you that Salik is just sort of pensively focusing on something.
Okay, so I walk over to him.
Them.
Them, sorry.
No worries.
And I'm like, all right, what seems to be the problem?
You start hearing them just muttering a bunch of phrases in Celestial. And a lot of them just basically translate out to the equivalent of, like, by all that is good and that inspires growth and care in this world, please, dearest Lady of Change, offer these people guidance and good health. And the roll I just made in chat for everyone is Salik is going to cast a prayer of healing so that everyone heals 12 hit points.
Nice.
It's very generous.
They look down at the body of the man. This is most unfortunate. Herman was not the kind of man to do this kind of thing. It
What
is,
about this dead person? Who is this one?
I think that's Herman.
no, no.
The dead one.
The
The
dead
one
one.
Herman killed.
I didn't remember that someone died.
Oh, that is Francesca. She goes by Franny. She has a wife that I will have to speak with when I have the time. This has been an ordeal for everyone here. Just a look of just not despair, but just almost disappointment, and you can't quite tell if it's in all of you or if it's in themselves. It's just a look of just, it's a lot, and it's been this whole thing pretty much. Yeah, they just take about like 10 minutes doing this prayer over and over. They heal all of you, and then they tell you that. And you're just sort of standing there, just watching over the other body of the one who was knocked out.
Salik, do you recognize this weapon? And I take the axe that Herman was using as something that Herman owned already? Perhaps this can be
To be quite honest, and I'm going to assume that you are not from the town, because most people around here happen to keep an axe of some sort just for cutting wood, to tend to fires and things of that sort for their homes. The little bit of heat we are able to keep during the winter is...
does it look like a woodcutting hatchet to me?
Pretty much. It doesn't look particularly, like, significant. Like, out of character, I'll say it this way. It's not like it's covered in magical runes or there's any after effect from the blood that came out of the person. It just looked like he was just wielding it. The torch also doesn't seem that different from just a normal ended torch, although... Roll me an Arcana check, Baya.
Sure. Bum, bum, bum.
For a second, it looks like maybe you see like a faint little glow at the end of it.
Wait, question before I take the 8.
Yes.
Can I... Am I currently, like... Am I sort of making this determination while everybody is around and looking at me? Because if so, I would like to save face as a hobgoblin.
Show me what, if you can post that, what that ability is. I believe it lets you, was it like roll additional for a fear of losing status, you miss an attack roll or fail an ability check? Equal the number of allies. Yeah, you can do that. And you have actually with Salik, you have 5 allies. Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah.
You pass the check.
Nice.
I feel a lot of stress in the cult from when people expect things of me, and right now it feels like people expect things of me. So
Yeah, your eyes, like you have that sort of like after light effect of like, oh, the sun's been in it too much, like as you're looking at the bottom of the torch, and you look at it and you see just etched at the very bottom sort of this like wood kindling that's used for like the handle of it, just the tiniest little rune.
is it a very pretty rune or a very ugly rune?
It's a very ugly rune.
I try to read it because it's probably infernal.
It is infernal. It is in fact infernal. Can confirm. Certain scripts of infernal are terrible. It's like doctor's scripts. But yeah, you read it, and it basically reads the infernal translation of ignite.
Okay,
Like it translates to that word.
Okay. I'm going to sort of confiscate the torch from the unconscious man and sort of flip it so that the bottom is facing Salik. And I'm going to say, is this familiar to you at all? Because this caught my eye. It's infernal. And I'm not sure if all of your torches are typically going to have something like this.
Take it, hold it in their hands. No, this is very curious. This is just a simple torch, but I've not seen this kind of writing since I left the seminary.
Right. Well, I take it back and I hand it to Azerlath and I'm like, you know things about things, so Now we have this strange, like, why do you think that the runes on the body were in the shape of like a number 8? And what do you make of this weird thing?
I believe that is an infinity sign and not an 8.
I was not good at math. Okay, so sure, infinity. What does that mean? Like, is he supposed to last forever? He didn't do that very well. We took care of him very quickly. Very short compared to forever.
It might be the duration of the spell before I burned it out of him, or whatever it is.
We should talk more about that later. Okay,
Yes.
I turn back to Salik and I'm like, so what's the protocol for... Pretend this man is a dire wolf. What do we do now?
Well, we will inform those who are still among the living and are close to them of what sort of care we can provide for them, and pay last rites when we can.
Oh, this man is still alive.
Oh, he's
No,
not.
no. Salik is gesturing towards the other person who's dead,
Oh,
towards the woman on the ground who's dead.
Oh, I see.
The first part they're saying, to clarify, the first part they're saying to the person who is knocked out. The second part they're saying the last rites about the person who's dead. Not last rites to the still living person. That would be a very different meaning,
yes.
which everyone should be somewhat uneasy about.
As he just sort of absorbs all this information and you see some sort of like flicker of recognition, and Didi leans into Baya and says, "This is what happens when you make facts you know nothing of."
I sort of look at her, like with my head cocked, and I'm like,
Them.
thank you. Then with my head cocked, and I'm like, I don't know what you insinuate by that, but okay. I'm actually going to sort of rummage briefly through the like the outer layers of Francesca's clothing, just to see if there's anything she's holding that has any demonic symbol on it. If anybody's like stop or like asks what I'm doing, I'll explain. But
Stranger, I do not know you very well, but I would hope you'd understand people prefer bodies that have passed to not be disturbed.
yes,
I promise you, we can discuss, well, both payment and also perhaps more information. Perhaps there are other things going on here, but
I was
let us-
wondering why he went for her, because you said she was just another person.
perhaps just compelled to attack. But I do not know. This has been magic that I have not seen in quite a while.
If I could just check the outer clothing, I won't do anything else. Just for any signs that are odd.
Yes. Why don't here compromise? Why don't all of you come with me to the temple? I will provide you a space to sleep for the evening, and we can talk about more of these matters when people are rested, and we can attend to the last rites. I will be up for quite some time, but I will be available should you want to converse. People, and they sort of just turn around and gesture with their one good arm and the quarterstaff they have. This is normally a time of great jubilation and happiness. Let us not burden them with the dead for now.
Can I sort of I'll even roll for it if you think I should. Can I cast Unseen Servant surreptitiously and have my servant dig through?
Roll me dexterity. Well, actually, wait. Roll me an Arcana check first, and then roll me a sleight of hand. This will be the last thing before we go to break, folks, because we're
Okay.
a little bit past the hour and a half point. But this is where we're at for here. Okay, so take your your sleight of hand check at advantage.
And I would like to use my saving face to add to the 9.
Wait, but you're explicitly trying to get none of us to notice this, right?
Yeah,
That's
but they
true.
would lose face if they were
Right.
caught.
If you're caught.
That's
enough.
true.
Yeah.
I will allow it.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So +4 or +5?
+5. They only roll 11 on perception, so
Okay,
I'll say
so
you're able to read through the pockets. Dee Dee, you don't find anything. You
Okay.
basically, your servant, like, very surreptitiously roots through the body of a dead woman, and you find absolutely nothing. There is a moment of pause as Salik doesn't notices but doesn't know what's causing it. Like after a couple of minutes, like even someone rummaging through the body of a corpse, it's gonna be noticeable, but they have no idea what causes it. But they're like, it would appear desecration of the dead is common for whoever is doing this.
Do I get the impression that this is like a tradition that's, well, actually, so firstly, general world question, like, is it considered very like sacrilegious to look at the body of the victim to see if there are any clues?
It's not typically with adventuring or anything of that sort. It's just more, you get the sense it's very apparent just by the gear and the garb that they're wearing and the holy symbol and the way that Salik carries themselves, that this is very much like a very religious sort of person who's very much
Gotcha.
like they're you can feel them very visibly shift uncomfortably in the moments when they're talking about the dead and making sure they're being taken care of. And I'd say with the passive insight and perception Azerlath has, you would definitely know as another person who's religious, this is less about like, oh, does everybody do this, and more like they're holding back saying a bunch of things about, they're probably at that point of like wanting to scream obscenities at you, but they're having to hold it together because you're like, you are desecrating a body and I'm a leader and I can't scream at you, but I really want to.
Okay, if that's the case, I'm just gonna like very close to the body give my sister a thumbs up because I also noticed the rummaging.
But with this point of having taken the time to rummage through the body of a dead woman and finding nothing, having dealt with this encounter in the festival, at the festival's end at dusk, and being promised by Salik to have time to talk with us and rest, thank you so much to our viewers right now. We are going to take a 10-minute break. We will be back shortly. Thank you so much for chat, for being patient and everything with all of our technical issues, because today is one of those days. But thank you for tuning in for what's been the first combat, and we will be back in 10 minutes. So I am going to mute us now, and we're going to be switching over. See y'all in 10 minutes. Love you, everybody.
Bye.
Thankfully, chat did not hear that statement. Hello, chat. Can you hear us again? For anyone else who is on Twitch, because I am avoiding Twitch to just make sure production carries along in a somewhat okay manner for the rest of this thing. But are we okay? Can folks hear us? Can they see us all right?
I guess.
Can chat hear us? Let's start with that. Can chat hear us?
Hello, 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 hello.
Oh.
So yodeling?
What?
Yodele he who. I'm going to proceed. If I have confirmation that at least it's Twitch functioning, can folks see us on Twitch?
Still says we'll be right back, actually.
Yeah,
still
I
says
still
we'll be right
have
back?
the
Yeah,
away
there's a
stream.
delay.
Thank you to our Patreon supporters.
Well, at
You
the
wanna
very
read
least,
them
they
all
can hear
out?
us. I mean, I
Yeah.
could read them all out, but
Oh, we're up.
Rita-
are we
okay.
back?
Yes, now.
Yeah.
Are we back? Can chat hear us? Can chat see us even with the delay? Okay. Because we as players are seeing this. The Twitch will be a couple seconds behind. Maybe 20 seconds behind. We're working on
I'd
it.
say it's a decent delay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm going to keep things going. Thank you, everybody, for joining us back again. We are at a point, again, to recap what we just finished off. Our party of book nerds, misfits, and spoopy boys have managed to deal with their first encounter successfully. No one has died. This is a shock to me. No, actually, I'd prefer you not to die
So far.
so far. But currently, we are at a point where the party has been offered the chance after someone desecrating a body. They will
I
remain
wasn't
unnamed.
desecrating it.
Says you.
Ransacking.
Does ransacking a body come off as better to you in phrasing?
It's an artful rearrangement.
I don't know. It sounds like a good phrase to bow.
It was making sure there weren't any evil artifacts left behind on the corpse.
That's sensible.
That is what I'm going with, and I will die on that hill.
Points to incoming hill approaching very quickly. But carrying on, you are able to make your way to, if you want to follow them. I'm not going to assume that the party is immediately going to follow them. Salik will offer bed rest to all of you and space within the temple to either chat, sit down, take a breather from things, or just rest there for the night and maybe talk some more when folks are feeling more recuperated. But it is up to the party.
I will follow the
Did we already pay for in rooms for tonight?
thing.
Or
You
did we
had
just
the
for
first
one
night was free. You had the first night free. You
Oh,
would have had to
okay.
consider like paying if anything
Okay.
came up. But currently,
Yeah,
you
we're
don't
gonna
have
go
a paid
with
room.
everything.
I like how this person thinks.
As we tag along, I'm just gonna walk by Didi and I'm gonna be like, this Salik person may be like more snooty than your snooty personality. Are you sure we should sleep in their hospitality and under their roof?
Said anything about sleeping with them?
Phrasing. Sleep under their roof.
Sorry.
I forget that when you're not being snooty, you catch on to all the double entendres. I'm used to your snooty personality where you don't touch any of those.
Sorry. I think you might have just broken me a little.
You okay, sister?
Are you okay? Why are you laughing an inordinate amount? That seems out of character for you at this moment in time.
No, that's the player laughing.
One player broken.
4 to go.
Okay.
4 to go.
It's going to be one of those cases where great, now I've lost my train of thought because you've made me laugh. Damn it, Ant.
Okay.
No, now I remember what I was going to say. I remember my sass. I was going to say, and thus the first ship was launched from port. To clarify, I don't mean the siblings. I mean Salik, Mariam, making this explicitly
Fire, so-
clear.
There is going to be some sibling sass to go, perhaps. Who knows? No, not really. No. I say with a completely straight face and not at all bursting into laughter, who said anything about sleeping with them?
I say what I said earlier. Phrasing on my part. Just, are we sleeping under their roof? Is that a good idea?
I don't know yet, but
But
with
it's free.
you, I mean, so is the inn. But at the same time, perhaps a holy place might be. Actually, a holy place might not be good for you given your recent activity.
I don't think he cares, and I don't think I care too much.
That's the problem. You're listening to him. And I guess I would at least go and speak to Salik. I'm currently undecided about whether I will take him up on his hospitality for the evening.
Them.
Them.
Okay.
Okay, well, we can go and see what develops of this.
Okay. While the siblings have been having this long conversation in front of the rest of the party, what is the rest of the party interested in doing?
Try to look like I'm not eavesdropping, even though I totally am. Like, yeah.
Okay.
It's canon. All the moments that Corin tries to eavesdrop is just everyone
Corin is
expects
super dumb.
whistling and everything.
Let me tell you something. Hobgoblins hear in a lower frequency, so they cannot hear this whistling. So no matter how much you whistle, you will
Bo, Azerlath, Corin, somebody?
I'm just gonna go with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Settle down for a rest.
Yeah. I think is definitely ready for a good night's sleep.
Yeah. Friend's like, can we head out now? Are you like? She doesn't say it, but mentally she's like waiting for the twins to finish their little discussion so we can head on out.
walk and talk. We walk.
Yeah, I'm just kind of this whole they're having like a tense like sibling like conversation. There's just like Azerlath chilling right here, Bo towering over everyone, and Corin just sort of like
examining her nails nonchalantly, like yes, totally not interested in this conversation going on.
But yeah, you are able to move through some of the city, and there's actually everyone roll me a perception check real quick. See how much you pick up on.
Oh, I forgot to take my advantage off.
I always take the left roll for how I do this, so folks know whether they do it or not. Okay, I'll say pretty much for everyone but Didi and Bo.
Yeah.
I'd say by you sense you probably are. Well, I'll take a guess. You tend to notice and pay attention when there's like folks looking around because past and because have to be careful. You do notice a lot of folks just who are you are able to catch like their eye occasionally. It seems like they're trying to mouth something to you occasionally, and I'd say for the folks who roll higher than the 13, like you don't know, you just hear like I'll say what you're most able to see is like you see folks occasionally just whispering or talking to one another. I'll say for the folks who rolled 17 and higher, especially Corin, you are able to actually pick out a little bit more of the words, and you get little fragments like, does anybody know who they are? I don't frankly know who they are, but I mean, they did good things. It can't be that bad. Hey, is Herman, is he gonna be all right? Like, is he gonna be okay? And it's like, oh man, Franny's gonna be real sad about this. Or like, well, Franny's wife's gonna be real sad about this. Like, most of what you pick up just from passing by and overhearing, or occasionally just watching folks as you go by, folks, it seems to be somewhere between like ambivalent to partially skewed to positive reception of you. Like a good chunk of the conversation just seems to be folks are kind of just taken aback by all of this, and some of it is like, maybe we gotta be careful with festivals and new folks coming in, and other folks are like, nah, the kids love it. Like, maybe it's just a one-time deal. Maybe we just need more folks like this to be around, and they just, I'd say Corin, probably you see one or two people, like, they try and hide that they make the gestures towards you, but you catch it because you got a crit. And you see them like, man, maybe they're what we need right now. But yeah, you're able to pass through town. You get that information as you're passing through town, and you make your way to the front of a temple. Again, these pair of statues, one sort of wonderfully carved from sort of deep kind of marble, showing the form that you've for the folks who rolled high enough in the previous session, know as a representation of Avandra, goddess of change and a sort of caretaker to halflings, and another one of a darker brown sort of stone-like material being used to form Yondala, goddess of halflings. You see the stained glass window where the two of them are depicted in an image holding and embracing one another lovingly above the opening door to this temple, and you're ushered in. There's simple brown pews. There's a little bit of an altar near the back end of it. There's a podium to speak from. Seems like there's a couple of folks who are still in here who look like they just trying to get in some midnight prayers. And Salik just gestures to a couple of side rooms. We don't have much, but there are cots and there are blankets, and I'm happy to provide you some tea and some other things that I have.
Do you want to?
Thank you for your hospitality.
Go ahead.
Corin is going to incline her head to him and say, "Thank you so much for your hospitality."
It is a pleasure to see a bard with manners. They're somewhat teasing, but it's said with much love and much care. You get the sense that it's said with a very warm sort of tone to it, and they seem to recapture some of the energy they had before, during their time they were speaking in front of the crowd before all of the violence erupted. Just hold the staff.
Salik, what should I do with him? And I sort of point to the dragged along dude.
Just keep him close. I will pray for him as best I can, and I will see what I can do. It is in the Lady of Change's hands. And he just sort of looks up with a slight level of reverence.
I turn to the party. Is it possible for us to maybe just get one room? I don't want to be in a room alone with some.
I'd be fine with that.
I can sleep on the floor, but I just want the party to be together.
Yes, I agree. That would be a good idea.
We're all just sleeping. Hopefully, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was waiting
No
for
plans for anything
I
else.
definitely do not have plans or anything else.
I do not have the same plans that Bo might be having.
I was like, you all sleep in one room. Which one of you is going to say it first? There it is.
I was thinking about keeping watch, not doing other things, Bo. I'll take first watch. I'm tired, but I'm not injured, and I did not really do anything in that battle except tell people to do things that they did not do.
And I can also stay up with the first watch as well.
Yeah, I can take whichever watch. I'm used to staying up late with my studies.
Bo likes to rise early, so she'd actually probably like to take the last watch.
I'm fine with whatever.
First watch, whatever watch, last watch.
So I'll take second watch then.
Okay, so do we have it Baya first watch, Azalas second, Bo third, or Corin third?
Corin third.
Corin third.
Corin third. Okay.
Dee Dee is in the first watch.
Okay. And Bo, since you said you wanted to be early rise, I'll say maybe partway through Corin's watch you could also do a perception check. That way it's not just those three and you're like, but I get up early and I wanted to do this. It's like, you'll get to do the thing. But, yeah. So. Alrighty. Weird message came up. I would like whoever is on the first watch to roll me a perception check. Okay. With that, if I also add, if during this time there's any sort of conversation you want to have, please let me know so that I don't just carry on through to the second watch. If you wanted to have a conversation with each other, I want to give space for that as well. But I'll say with those rolls, I would say, Didi, you and Baya, you are able to. You don't hear too much, really anywhere. The temple is quite. It seems to resonate sound occasionally, so you think like, oh, maybe something's lurking around or what have you. But when you take a look, Baya, you'd be able, with your higher perception check, to tell that the sounds you're hearing, because you're hearing chanting and like muttering happening in the middle of like you taking this watch, and there's maybe a split second where it's like, oh God, oh God, does that mean something else? And it's like, no. You look out, Baya, you're able to peer out, and you see it's Salik. They don't appear to have slept, and they seem to be just going over the body and with their holy symbol and just sort of blessing it and just tending to it. And it's a very mournful display to watch, but there's an element of like, occasionally you can catch them just trying to like force a smile and try and look up towards the sort of stained glass image that you see both at the front and the back of the temple. But you see nothing during your watch.
I sort of am keeping an eye on the tied up person, of course, but also keeping an eye on Paya to see if any of his old ways resurface in terms of desecrating temples or something of that sort.
Just set our bedroom on fire. No, I don't do anything.
Especially the stained glass window or like the altar or anything that would be of significant importance to the temple.
Does Baya do anything?
I'm good. No vandalism tonight.
Okay.
Tonight.
No.
The key word is tonight.
Tonight.
Well, your watch, if there is no conversation you'd like to have, your watch happens with no incident. You see them, Salik, stay up and do this, but outside of that, there's no other sounds. Second watch?
Cool. Do I make a perception check too?
Yep, it's going to be just a perception check. Yep. You hear much of the same. It's interesting. You catch changes to other languages. One that sounds almost like the rustling of feathers being with the wind going through them, but being delivered by a voice that you recognize as Salik's. That, given your astute observations and plethora of knowledge about many things, you'd hazard a guess is Auran. It is a particular language spoken by a lot of Aarakocra. And you occasionally hear words in Celestial just of asking, interestingly enough, penance, of almost regret and guilt over not doing enough. And they stay up through the whole of that watch. They don't sleep. Doesn't seem like they're going to get a full night's rest anytime soon. And you're just about to shift over to the last bit of your watch when you, for a second, you swear you hear like footsteps somewhere on the outside of the temple. But outside of that, you don't really catch anything. It's distracting between the two. Like, you're hearing a lot of Salik's sort of just very low Auran and Celestial sort of prayers and cries for repentance, and then also hearing the footsteps. Do you do anything?
Nope.
Okay. Third watch.
Alrighty. Oof. Okay, I guess how I can imagine this going is like, since everyone else is asleep and oh wait, she's not on watch with anyone yet, right?
Not yet.
Okay.
Partway
not
through the
yet.
watch. Partway through the watch,
Yeah, so-
Bo will do the last bit of it.
Yeah, so since everyone else is asleep and she's kind of bored, she's probably gonna take out her vial and start like plucking at it very softly. And so I imagine she'd probably get distracted in that, even like unintentionally, just because she's a bard.
Just little bits, little tunes, just emerging bit by bit. They're very quiet and you do hear a knock on the door, Corin. You see Salik exhausted. They definitely do not look as though they've gotten anywhere near the level of sleep that they need. And there's just an element of like kind of exasperated, but trying to still maintain their composure and just be like, ignore the noises in the background, lovely viewers.
Maybe that's the distraction.
That is the distraction, actually. But no, you don't manage to pick up anything. The most that you have happen is that Salik happens to hear you because they rolled a crit to perceive if they picked up the music. And yeah, they notice. And they're like, it's like it's a face. It's strange to see like a bird face just being like, please be good. It's the equivalent of like a parental sort of look of like, just try and be a good boy or a good child for this, please. But if you do nothing else, your watch passes without any incident. And now it is Bo's.
Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, she kind of just sits down, like cross-legged. She has her two axes. Actually, I think she would have put like she has like a holster, I guess is the word for it. It's like a leather like get up that where she can like, you know, put them so that they're on her back. So she would definitely have put them on to start the watch, but then just been sitting cross-legged outside.
Okay. By the end of your watch, you do happen to catch similar sort of sounds that Azerlath catches in their earlier watch, just like maybe some footsteps around the temple. But by the end, nearing like halfway point of your watch, which is probably about the last hour or so of the like roughly 8 hours you all need to take to rest, you see Salik come next to you and say, "Oh, it is good to see you again, traveler. Did you sleep well?"
Yeah, pretty well actually. That blood thing was very unsettling. I did not like that feeling of that. It just stuck to my skin and slowed me down. It was not pleasant at all.
My apologies that I could not do much more to help other than tend to some of your wounds. It has been a while since I have had to do anything related to fighting. I am frankly more of a person of the cloth more than a person of combat. You seem much more suited for these things.
Yes, well, your healing was greatly appreciated. Every fighter always needs someone who can tend their wounds later.
Thank you. It is most appreciated. I am simply trying to keep the things that are most troubling me about this under wraps for myself as much as anyone else. People look to leaders to be reassuring, to be confident, to be the kinds of things that they need to give guidance. And I am not all of those things. I am but someone who has given them some hope and some care at certain points.
I'm really curious why everybody seemed to take so much care in saying that nothing happens in this little village, that when clearly, like, you know, this was something very strange indeed, and I just get the feeling that it was perhaps not the first time that a strange happening went on here.
Well, if I can explain a bit more with the last bit of energy that I have. Pardon me if I'm a bit woozy and things of that sort, but occasionally we do have people who cause mischief around when the Harvest Close Festival comes in. We invite people to come and partake in games. We have that illusionist that you happen to see. We have Zerpek, the mage goblin, who I did happen to catch that your hair was a bit of a different color, so I did happen to see that you must have sampled some of his wares.
Yeah. That was interesting also.
He is
not
a bit...
not totally unpleasant, but yeah.
You're welcome to say unpleasant. I'm not allowed to say these kinds of things. You are more than welcome to say them.
Well, it was a surprise at the very least.
But to be honest, we have incidents that happen. We have, and occasionally when the festival happens, it is why Elena and occasionally Ophelia even happen to do things. They watch on people, and Elena is normally able to keep the people who become more rowdy, or, some small, teenagers and things of that sort. They go off and start making out in places that they think no one can find them, even though people always find them because they're never subtle. But we've never had anything that violent. We've had a bar brawl every now and then, but we never had things that visceral.
Well, it does seem as if you also pretty exhausted, so perhaps you should also have a good rest.
I will do my best. I am just worried about other people. I am worried about Franny's Fife. I am worried about... Frankly, I'm starting to wonder if Deidre wasn't just getting more than a handful of gnolls or an occasional direwolf coming into her crops. I will have to check on that as well tomorrow.
It does seem as if you have your hands full looking after the village.
I am but an instrument of a god of change, and the best that I can do is to make sure that change is good. People deserve goodness in their life. They deserve care. That is the most that I can do for them. Even if it exhausts me a bit. But I will be fine. They walk 2 steps, and they just start slowly collapsing to the ground.
Bo is going to jump up and try and catch them before they hit the ground.
For the hell of it, just roll me a dexterity check. Just
Sure,
to see how well this goes. I don't think it can end terribly.
I would love to see how well this goes.
But we shall... The dice have always... Oh, that is the exact opposite of things going terribly. It's like there's a moment of almost like you catch it, like resignation on their face, as they're like, well, the floor is going to be my friend now. But before they hit, they're just like kind of taken aback as very muscular arms just catch them and just try and be careful around the one arm that they're missing and such. They're like, well, I should probably sleep.
Yeah, seems like a really good idea.
Can I sleep here? And they're just like, they're resting in your arms, and they're just like, they don't have the face. It's not a flirtatious comment. It's just a look of like, I don't want to move, mom.
Like
I'm okay
pure
here.
exhaustion. I get it. um, uh, where is your house? Where's your sleeping chamber?
It's a bit to the left, over by the altar. They're just like
Okay.
barely holding on with their quarterstaff. They're just like, they're basically at like person who's had way too much to drink levels of exhaustion, where they're like, just I will be fine. I just have to go this way. I am a leader. I can handle
Sure.
myself.
Okay.
Please carry me. I'm very
Um,
tired.
Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and just carry you over to your pallet because it seems as if the leader needs a bit of help right now, and I'm very happy to provide that.
You
So
can-
I'm just going to carry them to wherever it is that they usually sleep, whatever looks like their bed or whatnot.
If you could see a trio of talons just make a thumbs up kind of sign, just imagine a very clawed hand just do that. They do that, you take them to a cot, and they happen to fall asleep right away, and the next morning comes without any incident.
Okay.
You all are awakened, and you're able to proceed with the day.
Refresh all our abilities.
All of your abilities are refreshed. So viewers and such know, I am gonna probably try and do leveling up with folks off camera, so we're not putting too much of that time on this. But just so people are aware, the party, with that having gone through that combat and managed that situation, you are all at level 2 now. So congratulations, the victory
Huzzah!
music plays for you all.
Yay!
But yeah, you awaken, and it feels very much like just a normal day. The sun is sort of gleaming through some of the stained glass window. It's very like cliche levels of like, this is a holy place level of aesthetic. It's very cute, but it's also like, wow, this is really religious all of a sudden, with the light just shining through, and the like, you see the figures of the two goddesses illuminated, the actual like light forms coming through the glass on the floor. And you all awaken to a new day.
Okay.
Well, Bo's ready for breakfast.
Is the man still unconscious?
He's still unconscious. He's you, if you go near him, you can still hear a pulse. You can still feel a pulse. Not hear a pulse. Hear a pulse, it's way much more intense. You feel a pulse. I'm tired. You feel a pulse, and you hear very shallow breathing. They appear
can I-
rested.
Okay, can I make a medicine check to see if they're like super asleep or just normal sleep?
Yeah, go right ahead. Roll a medicine check for me. Yeah. You as you take a moment, and you just sort of like, how do you go about like checking for it? Is it just like pulse, or are you just like listening? What are you doing?
I would do medicine things like that.
Fair enough.
I don't know enough about it for myself to know
Right.
what I would do, but like they know more than I do. So
Right.
Yeah.
Azerlath is confident and know these things. Aletta is tired, and
Yes.
we'll assume
And on
Aletta
cold
that
meds.
and on cold meds. But no, you take the time, you pass your fingers just sort of along their shoulder, just sort of feel the pulse around their wrist, and you just take a second to listen to their breathing, and you can hear very faintly just the beginning of them stirring,
Okay.
just starting to just waken up a little bit.
Okay. I tell everyone that I think he's gonna wake up soon.
I'm in the middle of saying, like, I think I heard if somebody's like unconscious for like 12 hours, it's really dangerous. And then like Azula says this, I'm like, oh.
It's like, well,
should we speed up the waking? I can kick him.
I don't think kicking would be necessary.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessary.
Okay. He's sort of sideways right now. Should we prop him up vertically, or?
I don't think that's a good idea. We should let him get up himself.
I just
Yeah.
realized my mic was muted.
This is
So
going
I actually
great.
did have something to do. As soon as Paya says, should I kick him awake? I just go and get my unseen servant to slap him awake.
He's horizontal right now. Should we make him vertical? No, we should just leave him where he is.
Should for all people interested in DMing in the future, take note: Unseen Servant, the true OP spell of all wizards. You don't think it can do a lot of things. It can do far more things than you think. But no, if you choose to do it, just I'm double checking. You are commanding the Unseen Servant to smack this person awake.
Yeah.
Okay, so they start stirring, and it's just sort of like I think it's I imagine the best description is like, I think some folks when like they've had heavy levels of intoxication, like there's almost like a slowing down of like how their face sort of gets back to focus, like it's that kind of level of like very slow awakening of just like what is going on? What's happening? Hello?
Well, it's morning.
I
I've been sleeping for a while.
Are you still bloodthirsty?
No, I'm not. I don't bloodthirsty. I mean, I'm thirsty. I haven't had a drink in like 10 hours. Does anybody have water or anything? I haven't.
Alright, got to check your neck first, and I'm gonna just pull his collar down. And see if, like the gash is still there.
Well, the cut is still there from the mark, but there's no like glow about the runes. Like as far as I would say Azerlath and you would be able to tell initially from being the ones who did the initial checks, nothing about the runes is active. There's still like a horrible like almost cauterized like mark along the edge of his neck, but there's nothing there.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how destroyed do you feel your neck is? And I rummage and pull out a water skin.
Frankly, that's not a question I've ever had to answer before, so
Math is hard. It's an infinity sign, and I give the water to him.
he's just like taking drinks just very like slowly. Like he just all of his movements seem incredibly sluggish. All of his he like even as he's just like trying to like pour it down, he has like slight
My unseen servant will assist.
that's that's
This unseen servant pulls a lot of weight.
Yeah.
this is very uncomfortable. Just
Oh, I understand. Sorry, I know you're drinking water horizontally, and that's difficult, but we believe in self-improvement. You should get up by yourself.
oh, he actually passes.
He's gonna get up, and I'm gonna say moral fiber.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, his strength is plus. That was exactly what he needed to roll to get up because he's exhausted. He just needed to roll a 10, and he has a penalty to his modifier because of a couple of different things. But yeah, he gets up and he's just like, well, I suppose you're being supportive. That's helpful, I guess. Is Winnie okay? Is he doing all right?
Should we get Salik? Bo, you talked to Salik, right?
Well, they also were quite exhausted only a few hours ago and kind of passed out. Uh, I wouldn't say in my arms because I kind of had to jump to catch them. But yeah, so they're in the temple. Is it what the place where they stay?
Aren't we in the temple?
Yeah.
For clarification, there's a little side room that had a little cot, like a little desk and temple to like write things at. Not little. There's a side room near the podium, a little bit closer to the altar, that has a cot, a desk, and writing and book implements in there.
Mhm.
That you would have been able to just move Salik in after they passed out. So they're just,
Okay.
you know that they're just sleeping. For clarification, out of character.
Right. Yes, they are just sleeping, but quite exhausted, and it's only been a couple of hours.
I have an unseen servant that can wake people up by slapping them in the face.
And my unseen servant goes and slaps Salik up.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
not sorry, won't slap, but just poke. Like,
They're going to be so disoriented. Have you ever woken up from a nap and just been like felt worse than when you went to sleep? No, it's fine. Don't do it.
And that description is
and
exactly what you see.
A ghostly creature is poking you.
And you just sort of see them with like, they just have like deep shadows underneath, like even amongst the like very feathered face a bird face that they have, there's just like deep shadows here. Their feathers look incredibly ruffled. Like the top of their head has like 3 feathers that are just sticking up in a couple different points. Like they haven't like properly taken the time to clean themselves up, and they're like, travelers, why am I being awoken?
Herman woke up.
Oh, Herman. Oh, yes, it is good to see her awake. And just Herman goes forward. Is Winnie all right? Is Winifred all right? Is he safe? And Sally just sort of responds with, we've tried to get in contact with them. It was very hectic and we had to move a lot of the crowd away, but we will go check in on them today as soon as we can. But as the last time that I saw them in the midst of all of the chaos yesterday that you were responsible for, he's safe. He's fine. He was running away as fast as his little goblin legs could take him. He's a survivor, Herman, don't worry. And just Herman's face just sort of relaxes a little bit, but he just looks very sluggish, very disoriented. And with all of the like weirdness with the unseen servant slapping him awake, and just seeing Salik just kind of disoriented, it sort of turns to all of you. Who exactly are all of you? How exactly am I here?
You don't remember anything? What's the last thing you remember?
It's a bit faint, but I remember passing through the crops and hearing a bunch of strange noises. I hear a bunch of like clicking sounds amongst some of the cornfields. I thought I heard something disturbing the wolves that we keep at our home. And then the last thing that I heard was something calling me to the well. And I took a drink out of the well. And then now I'm here. That's about all I remember.
And where is this well?
It's in the center of town, really. Like some folks use it, but we've been having to do some repairs on some of the structural integrity of it. It's been kind of falling apart. And frankly, I think some kind of worm might have gone in a little while ago, but I don't know. I just. Oh, God.
Did you drink the water in the well, or was it just that you only remember going into it?
I remember something like falling down the well for a second after I drank it. It's all a bit of a haze, and I don't even know if any of it's real. But I just remember something being there. Somebody calling me.
I'm watching space for reactions.
Roll me an insight check, Maya. This will determine how much information you get. Because I'll say this much. You do see them when Herman takes the time to mention the crops. Like, there's a note of recognition, but you don't quite pick up on what, like, the emotions around it are. You just get a sense of, like, specifically the crops. Something is up. But, yeah, with a 7, that's about all I can give you for that kind of roll. But you do know something about the crops is bothering Salik. And Bo, I would also say, because, well, you don't know that insight, but out of character, I can tell you, like, the crops would be something that Salik had mentioned while they were passing out last night. So.
Okay.
But yeah, Herman's still just there. He's just, every now and then he just takes a huge swig of this water skin, and he's just generally kind of lost, and he's just turning to all of you. He's like, what happened? What did I do something?
Killed a person.
Okay.
That can't be right. I get scared of our own wolves. I don't
Look at your hatchet. You should still have it on you, and it should have the blood on it.
Well, say that to... What was her name again?
Franny or Francesca. The full name is Francesca that you have, but goes by Franny.
Well, say that to Franny's wife.
I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't mean to do bad things. There's still a place for
Orin's
me.
kind of like put her hand on his shoulder and try to reassure him, like, we understand. I know you. It's not your fault. We're gonna try to fix this so that nobody else has to get hurt.
Corin,
Yes.
roll me a persuasion check. There will be an effect no matter what, but this will determine to what degree.
Oh my god.
Oh.
The bard rolled a 4. Or that's not even...
Ooh.
I'll put it this way. It's less that you say the wrong things, and it's just more the nature of how Herman's doing. He just looks exhausted, and he looks like he's had the look of being told that, like, he just hurt the most important person in his life. He's somewhere within that range of, like, where his face and his demeanor is at. He's just kind of broken at that point. Like, he takes it and he understands, and it does seem to help a little bit, but with a crit fail, it's not working anywhere near what your usual charm would be. Thanks for not killing me.
I think that after she sees that, she's like, oh, no, you can continue.
No, you continue, Corin. I interrupted you.
No, I was gonna say, like, since she notices that, like, he's failed at cheering him up, she's just kind of like gonna withdraw a little bit. probably thinking like maybe he just needs some space.
Yeah. But he's for the most part, he just looks kind of broken, and he just sort of turns to Salik and he's like, will she forgive me? And he's just sort of seems to be staring past all of you and looking near the stained glass windows, and just sort of he has the same sort of expression that I would say Azerlath you saw on Salik's face last night, one of repentance and one of wishing he could have done, in this case, instead of better, otherwise. But it's the same sort of expression. Thanks for at least not killing me. Maybe I'm not a good person anymore after this, but I think I could do better. I can at least do what I can to make some things right. Do good by Franny.
But how are you going to?
Well, it's better I be the one to tell her. And at that point, when he mentions it, Salik is like, no, Herman, you need to rest. I will go through and tell. I will tell Franny's wife. I will take care of them. Please. The Lady of Change will always offer you blessings if you seek to do all that you can to enact good here on out. There is always cause for change. There is always moments for change. Do not worry. And they sort of step past you, and it's interesting. While they're a relatively kind of frail figure for the most part, there's a sort of almost presence of warmth and comfort about them, that it's very much just a sort of other end of like the sort of formal presence they've had all the time, is this very caring, loving presence, even when having to deliver the worst of news. And then just sort of bend down and comfort them.
So Salik's heading out?
Salik seems to just be sitting with Herman and just tries to talk with him for a little bit. Salik is just sort of conversing and just pretty much going through effectively the D&D bird humanoid equivalent of like confession with said person. It's just a moment of like very intense, like very private, and in a lot of ways very intimate, just conversation that spurs. And any of you can try and ask questions, but it doesn't seem like Herman's like fully there anymore. Herman's just kind of
if anyone wants to try, I'll stop them. That's not something you interrupt. As the cleric.
When I sort of blurted out the whole, well, you kill someone, you notice there's this anger that's sort of bubbling to the surface, but doesn't sort of doesn't come out, and just still that anger just is still there. Very like clearly, I have more to say, but I'm not saying it.
So party. What do you do from here?
I guess we should go see what's going on in that well.
And also
I
the
agree.
cornfields.
And the cornfield.
Yeah, I was going to say Bo's interested because the crops seem to have been mentioned a couple of times. So what's going on out there?
Hey, we came to this town to escape, and now we're getting involved in something that's able to turn people into, I don't know, axe-wielding, hatchet-wielding killers? Why get involved?
Because these people don't have anyone else to help them. We pretty much are the ones with the most information right now.
I mean, does the city not have people who take care of the direwolves? Why don't we talk to them? And if they decide not to help, then we can make a decision then. But it seems like we should at least help them.
I mean, yes, but I don't think they'll be quite equipped for more horrors than just direwolves. This is most certainly a step up from that.
And we experienced this firsthand, so we saw what can happen when we were there. I mean, that blood that I was sprayed with was really unpleasant, and it was not something that I easily escaped from.
I mean, all the more reason to tell more people, right? If we're trying to stay sort of uninvolved, I would rather be completely uninvolved. If we're trying to involve ourselves, I would rather that we do it sort of. Vivi, what do you think? I think if we're getting involved, we should involve everybody that we can.
I think sometimes when messes are made, the people making the mess don't realize how much it costs for their loved ones to fix it. And I figured that if we deal with this, perhaps we can get some insight into that pact that was made. And then maybe we just know more information.
I'm gonna sort of like look around at the party, and I'm gonna look back at Didi, and I'm gonna be like, I feel like if we're going into this for the pact, we should tell the rest of the party what we're about before we get into that. Especially since you've brought it up a few times. I don't see any reason to keep it a secret from this group, and I don't see any reason to keep the cornfield and the well a secret from the town. If we can get 30 people to go and help, that's 30 bodies. That's 30 people who can see what's going on or shout for help if something goes wrong. For the pact, if we can get all 5 of us involved rather than just the 2 of us, that's more people to think about.
Yes, been thinking about asking Asterlath for some help, definitely, as they seem to be more knowledgeable about
They are right there.
I was waiting. I wasn't gonna say anything because this was a wonderful moment of just people just talking. But I'm like, are you two having this conversation like separately
Yeah.
or with the group? Because they're standing right in front of you,
This
and
is
you
with the group.
technically you haven't left the room with Salik and Herman either. So Salik has heard all of this too.
Well, you said that they were having a private conversation.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
My visualization was
part.
like,
But this is
group-
probably still happening, like walking and
Yes.
talking. At the very least, the group is aware that this
Yes.
is conversation is being had.
I'm almost, as I'm talking, I almost am kind of like thinking and in my own world and not quite aware of what's going on. You can tell whatever anger is like, it's there, it's just simmering, it's waiting to.
Yeah, I'm taking advantage of that. Like, while you're in your own head, I'm dropping words like, pact, tell the group, no secrets. Forcing your hand.
Yeah, and I sort of sigh and say, well, tell them if you want to. Perhaps more heads are better than one.
Okay, so Bo already knows this, but for the 2 of you who joined us later, my sister and I are running away from a larger group of hobgoblins that were.
Wait, actually, Ant, I think your volume is a little bit low. Can you raise it just a tiny bit?
I can do this.
Tell me your secret.
Does that work?
Yes, I mean you can
Okay.
also do that. I God damn it,
The way
Ant.
the stand is set up means that it's this or this. So
ASMR D&D.
blah 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 blah. Okay. So we're running away from a group of hobgoblins that there's no easy way to say this, I guess. They worship alternative gods that are not so popular, is one way to put it. Some might not call what they worship gods, but I am not eager to stand out because we are still very close to the point where we ran away. And my sister, and I sort of look to Dee Dee to confirm this, like I'm speaking for Dee Dee, but also watching for confirmation. I think believes this town has something for the pact. I think that's why we actually stopped by here, to blend in with the festival, but also maybe to learn something. I'm not so interested in that because I just want to get as far away as possible. But something that you all should know traveling with us, if we're going to be going into this cornfield to deal with my own connections with the creatures they worshipped.
And I am trying to figure out a way to break this pact, as this won't end well. And also, what my brother hasn't mentioned is that all of us are raised to be a vessel for such gods, and, well, the pact is the first step.
I look like a little bit unhappy at that characterization, but I say silent. But also, I look like unhappy about the general situations. I guess that doesn't stand out.
General grump mode.
I feel like some of the stuff, like the descriptions you've been using, is like kind of ringing a bell with Corin, even though she can't quite place it yet. So she is kind of like starting to narrow her eyes a little bit at y'all. Like, she's like, this sounds familiar, but I can't place it yet. So
Yeah, can I make a religion check to see if I know anything about
The particular entity that they're speaking of, or just the kind of information? Because I think
the entity or the specific cult?
okay, because this is partially I will say yes, but this is partially a thing that I want to check in with Ant about based off of what details you have given with the Hobgoblin Pacific cult. Do you think that would be fair to give specific enough if the check is high enough about the particular entity you might be dealing with, or just more about the cult? I'm partially asking you out of respect for your backstory in terms of how I know you are very intentional about the descriptions you do give to people.
I actually will hand that completely to you. However
Okay.
you want to pace this is fine.
Okay,
Okay.
I just wanted to check in real quick, but yes, you can roll a religion check to
Okay.
see if you recognize anything about that Azrael.
It's awkward karaoke D&D. Let me try to adjust my setup real quick and see if I can get the mic better without doing this karaoke thing.
We are nearing the end of our time, so you don't need to do that for too much. As
I'll
well.
just keep doing this then.
Talk show, spoopy boy. But yeah, Azerlath, I would say that you rolled high enough that you have heard of these sort of cults. They are, depending on who you talk to, ravagers of knowledge, seekers of thoughts and practices often considered most foul, and some of them are successful, and some of them are inclined to reach into the nine hells of the abyss themselves to see if they can pay the willing toll in order to get more information. It's something I'd imagine from your particular your particular deity's approach would be like, this is a very, very nerdy comparison, but like, you have general knowledge, you have secrets, and then you have the restricted section, which is just, you know why people should not be going in there. And it's not because you want to hoard knowledge necessarily, it's because the kinds of things that are in there often require very foul components, or things be sacrificed in the process. So based off of what Bayez stated, this is probably not a really good person or entity that you're going to be dealing with, and probably not someone who's fond of purveyor of knowledge and such. But I think out of respect for the time that we have right now, because as a time check to people, it is 11:30. We will set the final scene for this being the party has been told about the particular relationship that Baya and Didi have with, and the kind of history following them. And you have some sense that there are more things going on in Avis potentially than a lot of folks are aware of or originally knew. And with that, we are going to close out the session here. So, with that being said, I want to thank all of the wonderful people who have followed, subbed, hosted, rated, or were just amazing in the chat. I'm sorry that I was not able to attend to it as diligently as I would have liked to, mainly because it would appear anytime I have Twitch, my computer just says nope to everything else in my production. So thank you everyone for your patience with all of that. Thank you for tuning in. We love just having folks helping create this space for all of us and helping create this kind of story. And I'm blessed to have such wonderful players who help work together with me to create this interesting story. To go through the main things, okay, as I follow us out. So thank you to everyone who followed, subbed, hosted, rated, or were awesome. I saw that there was a lot of people who are now senior members of having supported us or having been involved with WTTP. Thank you so much for supporting us. Remember to look into the Discord, Patreon, and merch. I don't believe currently we have something up next on WTTP. I will be...
I think it's just read.
Yeah, I think it's just basically read. And let me real quick pull up the Twitch only for the purposes of checking one last thing. But for the most part, we are going to be rating very easily. I think Leona is currently helping us out with that. If either Greyhawk, Dumpstat, or Strategist are available, we'll be rating them as soon as I can get with this Twitch to be functioning. But before we even get to that, I just want to take some time to once again introduce to say thank you to everyone. If folks just want to do a quick little bit on who they are, where they can find you within the interwebs or within all of the tabletop role-playing game scene, feel free to do so. How about let's start real quick because I know folks are tired and it's late. Azerlath, just to go out first. Take care of that.
My name is Aletta. I am an artist and screenprinter. You can find me on Twitter at a firegender. It's on the screen there. And yeah, I draw a lot of stuff and post pictures of my cat.
Okie doke. Next up, let's go with Helio.
Hi, my name is Elio. I am an artist and a full-time student. I don't really have any social media handles to share.
Next, our wonderful Beau.
Hi, I'm Lily, and I am a tutor, a writer. I talk a lot about books. I love reading. And I'm Elise on Life on Twitter. And I also take part in a Star Wars podcast called Misfits of Space. So check us out.
Wonderful. Mariam.
Hi, I'm Mariam, and you can find me on Twitter at media_junkie. I am a creator and player, GM, kind of all over the place doing a bunch of stuff. I am here as a player, as well as on Emissaries of Athena on the same channel tomorrow night, same-ish time. And also, I am writing a campaign setting that is South Asian fantasy called Sarzamin, and I have podcasts based on that, and I'll put the links in the chat, which is the Musafirs. And yeah, doing a lot of stuff. Oh, and I'm running a Witcher one-shot 5e game tomorrow with Angela and Aletta as the players, and also one more player, Russ as well, will be joining us. And yeah, that's me.
For all viewers who are still with us, prepare for a terrible Irish accent for a dwarf. Enjoy the discontinuity and dissonance.
It
And
could be whatever you want. Oh yeah, and 3B is at around 8:30
EST, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And the last ones of our players before I do my little quick spiel out. Ant.
Hi, I'm Anthony. I'm a bartender. I'm a TA at elementary school, and I'm also a D&D blogger. You can find me on Discord at Jojoro number 72009, and my blog is dungeonentology.com, which I will.
Wonderful. And thank you everyone for tuning in. I am your femtacular trans wonderful person, Angela, otherwise known as Phoenix24Fem on Twitter, otherwise known as Philosopheme on Patreon. I am a poet, a writer. I give a lot of commentaries, especially on disability rights, justice, trans issues, depression, anxiety, healing, and just a lot of... I am basically a very trans disabled nerd who writes a lot about feeling.